Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you help run a club using ClubRunner, you've got a big change on your hands. Today, we're breaking down the mandatory upgrade to ClubRunner Nova. We're going to cover what's new, why it matters, and exactly what you need to do to make the switch a really smooth one.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at why this change is even happening. Then, what new tools you're actually going to get, how it improves your data, what you need to do to get ready, and finally, how the switch itself is going to work.
All right, let's start with the biggest question on everyone's mind. Why do we have to do this? And this isn't just about a new look and feel. It's about completely changing the engine under the hood.
To be really clear, Nova isn't just some light refresh. It's a total architectural overhaul. The old system, well, it ran on these local databases that could get pretty slow. Now, everything is moving to the cloud on Microsoft Azure, which for you means better speed, way more reliability, and top-notch security for your club's data.
The source material had a perfect way of explaining this shift. Think of the old system like a library with only one copy of a super popular book. Everybody has to wait in a long line. Nova is like giving every single person a digital copy they can get to instantly. And that right there is what gets rid of those frustrating slowdowns you might have seen.
So, now that we get the why, let's get to the exciting part. How does all this techie stuff translate into powerful new tools for you and your club? I mean, what are you actually getting out of all this? This table gives us a great side-by-side look, but I really want to zoom in on a couple of areas that are going to completely change your day-to-day work. Just look at the upgrades across the board, but pay special attention to the user interface and the email tools, because we're about to see how those make your life a whole lot easier. First off, say goodbye to all that clutter. If you ever felt kind of overwhelmed by all the options in the old system, Nova's new interface is going to be a breath of fresh air. It's so much more streamlined, and it intelligently shows you only the tools you have permission to see. That makes finding what you need way faster and more intuitive for everybody. Okay, this is another huge one, member communication. The old clunky HTML editor is gone. It's been replaced with this modern drag-and-drop email designer. Seriously, anyone can make beautiful newsletters now. But even more powerful are the new smart lists. Imagine this. You create a list for all active members just one time, and you never have to manually add or remove someone again. It just does it for you. What a massive time saver.
And it's not just about looks. The upgrade brings in serious security with multi-factor authentication. The same kind of thing your bank uses to keep your account safe. Plus, the new unified member profile is a game changer. It tracks everything, communications, finances, attendance, all in one single easy-to-manage spot for each member.
So let's dig just a little deeper into how Nova is going to make managing your club's data not just easier, but smarter and way more reliable. This is all about working smarter, not harder.
For all the Rotary clubs out there, this one is huge. It's called two-way True Sync. Before, if you updated a member's info on the main Rotary portal, you had to turn around and type the exact same thing into ClubRunner. Well, not anymore. Now that update flows back automatically. It saves time and, just as importantly, prevents errors.
The whole system is just built to be more dependable. Nova uses powerful services like Cloudflare to keep the system from crashing, and SendGrid to make sure your emails actually land in people's inboxes, not their spam folders. It's all about making the platform a rock-solid tool you can count on.
All right, I need your full attention here because this next section is absolutely critical. A little bit of prep work now is going to save you a ton of headaches later. These are the steps you and your club need to take before you flip that switch to Nova. Think of this as your essential DIA spring cleaning, and this is where everybody has a part to play. Now, the absolute most important step for the folks managing this migration is auditing your member emails. Nova requires every single profile to have a unique email address, so it is critical that you find and fix any couples or families who are sharing an email right now. Seriously, taking care of these 4 steps will prevent pretty much all of the common migration problems.
Now, a question that comes up all the time is about your documents. All those years of files, meeting minutes, and photos, what's going to happen to them? Are they safe?
And the answer is, don't worry about it. It's all good news. All of your documents will be moved over automatically, with no changes to who can access them or to their security. You don't have to do a thing here. It's all handled for you.
Okay, let's get to the final piece of the puzzle. You've done your prep work, you've cleaned your data, so what actually happens when you're ready to make the move?
So once you're ready to go, your club's site administrator, that's the person with the highest level of access, is the one who kicks off this simple 5-step process. It starts with an official request, and from there, ClubRunner basically holds your hand through the whole thing, getting you onboarded and helping with a few key setup tasks, like resyncing with Rotary and creating those awesome new smart lists.
One very, very important thing to remember, this is a one-way street. Once your club migrates to Nova, that's it. The change is permanent. You won't be able to switch back to the old classic interface, which, again, is why doing that pre-migration checklist is so incredibly important. And this is what's waiting for you on the other side. A modern, clean, and way more powerful platform that's going to help you run your club more efficiently. It's really designed from the ground up to be simpler, faster, and just better connected.
So the takeaway here is pretty clear. The move to Nova is a huge leap forward. It gives you better tools, smarter data management, and a much cleaner experience for everyone. And now you have the exact checklist you need to make that leap a totally seamless one. The only question left is, are you ready?